I think it might be too soon for Moses. I think Moses is on a great run. I think Dillian, if he had more momentum, it would be, I could probably stamp my authority on the decision a bit more.
He's not been hit on the chin. Dillian Whyte can whack, and he's in great shape. And I think that Dillian's going to take this fight and go in there and go, you know what? He's going to roll the dice and punch when, Moses does. And I think that is the importance here. Dillian's got to take the chance early.
Can he take a shot? What's he like when the going gets tough? Is he overrated for Moses? Is he ready for this level?
Boxing specialists cautioned Moses Itauma about challenging Dillian Whyte, saying the fight could be dangerous due to Whyte's strength and background. Derek Chisora is surprised Whyte accepted Itauma as an opponent, noting the youngster is still learning and not on the same level yet. Many suggest Itauma should build more experience before stepping up against a seasoned and risky rival to avoid damaging his career too early.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. I said, how much? He said, $2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. There's no light at that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said,
Dean Whyte voices concern about the timing of this matchup, saying Dillian Whyte might be too tough for Moses Itauma at this stage. He admits Moses has natural talent and big potential, but he remains new in the pro ranks. Dean stresses it's not only about skills, but also about experience and handling pressure. He believes Moses has many years ahead, and rushing into a bout with such a dangerous veteran could harm his growth. He advises Moses and his team to think wisely before fighting someone who has battled top-level names.
He's a new kid on the block, the kid with the thunder, big punch in southpaw. He's predicted to be the leading boy of the heavyweight division. So, look, it's a crossroads fight. Obviously, as if you look at it, they're saying they're hoping that the baton will be passed from him beating Dillian. I think Dillian's got other ideas. And Dillian's a man that's never should be written off. I think it might be too soon for Moses. I think Moses is on a great run. I think Dillian, if he had more momentum, it would be, I could probably stamp my authority on the decision a bit more. But still, Dillian's pressing, he's working hard. And if Dillian's up for it, that experience, is going to play a pivotal role in that fight.
Moses Itauma talks about his preparation, making clear that he trains tirelessly with his coaches. He speaks with belief about his routine, saying each workout is designed to sharpen his ability and raise fitness. Though some around him worry about the challenge, Moses brushes it aside, saying only he knows his real potential. He trusts his own power, mindset, and courage to face an experienced fighter like Dillian Whyte. His full focus is on following the game plan and proving he deserves to share the ring with one of the most seasoned heavyweights.
There's nothing to kind of deal with, because it's like the only thing you can do is either get angry or ignore it. So I choose to keep in control of my emotions. So I just kind of ignore it. Like, I'm just only on my own path. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody's got their own thing. But like, I'm not trying to compare anything.
Yeah.
And we was just talking about it with my coaches yesterday. It was like, a lot of people put pressure because they're too worried about the outcome. I'm not worried about the outcome. I'm worried about the game plan. And then the game plan leads to the outcome. So I don't think of things that I can't control. Your opinions I can't control. Like, for example, if I go to bed today, I wake up tomorrow morning, I still got to play the Moses Itauma role.
Yeah.
So my feelings and opinions of myself can't be based on what someone else thinks of me, because you don't have to play the Moses Itauma role 24/7. I do. So I just choose to ignore him.
Dillian Whyte, right? I think it surprised a few when he got announced. It was like, okay, and all of a sudden people were like, this is an interesting fight. Old Lion versus young Lion. What do you make of Dillian Whyte and where he is now in his career?
I think I might be boxing the best Dillian Whyte there is, because You know, this is his last chance. So I just got to kind of stop him from coming back into the division. To be honest, for a long time,
Dillian Whyte sends a sharp warning to Moses Itauma, stating he must not be underestimated. He insists he is no easy opponent, and that his toughness, willpower, and long career set him apart from anyone Moses has fought. Dillian points out the gap in energy, saying his years of battles and survival in big fights give him an advantage youth cannot match. He makes it clear he enters the fight with a mission to prove a point, and Moses should prepare for a dangerous rival who won't step back.
Frustrated media, it's frustrated people talking shit, and then when they come and see them in shape and different mindset, then they start changing their minds and opinion. I'm like, yo, I have the same energy, bro. I have the same energy. When I'm 118, 120 kilos, I have the same energy, because now I'm light and I look like I'm in shape. Then now everybody's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yo, come on, man. You know, I don't need to be 100% to win some fights, because I'm a fighter. I know what to fight. He's had more amateur fights than me and all of this other shit. You know, he's doing what he's meant to know. And one thing is, he's got the what's the word I'm looking for? The ignorance of inexperience. You know, I didn't say it right, but I'm tired. Yeah, ignorance of youth or whatever the it is. Yeah, I'm not a chump, bro. You know, I'm not a chump. You know, obviously people writing me up, but I'm not a chump. So let's see what happens Saturday.
Dillian, one word. What can we expect on Saturday night?
What I always bring, man. I always bring that. With me, there's always that unpredictability in the ring. You know?
A sparring partner training closely with Dillian Whyte shares his thoughts on the heavyweight's form before the fight. He says Dillian looks physically stronger than in years, moving with speed and attention in practice. His shots land with real force, his footwork is sharp, and his stamina during sparring has impressed. The partner mentions that Dillian's concentration is unmatched, and that he is treating this contest very seriously, which could create big problems for Moses Itauma.
I sparred Dillian the last time when he fought against Fury, and he developed very good. Like, he's in good shape for his upcoming fight against Itauma. I think he's in great shape.
Observers admit Moses Itauma shows maturity beyond his age, both inside and outside the ring. They praise his skills, discipline, and the fact that he has over 20 amateur fights, plus countless sparring rounds. Still, they note this fight is a huge jump in opposition. Facing Dillian Whyte means challenging a man who has stood against champions and top names. This step-up will test not just Moses' ability, but also his mental strength and ability to adjust under bright lights against a seasoned veteran.
You know, Itauma only had about 20 or so amateur fights. He has done a lot of sparring, but again, sparring is behind closed doors. You're in an environment that you feel comfy in. You're away from the scrutiny of the camera. You're not allowed, strictly speaking, you're not really allowed, and most gyms won't allow you to record a spar. They might show you a glimpse of footage, but you're talking 5 seconds, maybe, if even. So he's been kind of away in his own comfort zone. He's fought on big shows as co-main event. I believe him against McKeon was co-main event on Fury USAC 2. But again, he's going in as the firm favourite against the fighter he's expected to beat. And he's the bridesmaid, right? He's fought in the he's fought in the York Hall a couple of times. He's fought low down the card. You know, Itauma's always been that guy. You know, he can learn his craft. He's not strictly, the eyes of the world are on you, etc. Getting bigger, and, more people are talking about him, but still, comfy at his own pace. Now his first headline. Bear in mind, Joshua's first headline, I believe, was at the O2 against Gary Cornish. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I know he headlined that night. And this is his first headline. A pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia against Dillian Whyte, and all the media work that comes with it. You did a face-off on Monday. You had the grand arrivals yesterday. You're doing the public workout today. You're doing the press conference tomorrow. You're doing the weigh-in tomorrow. Or you're doing the weigh-in on Friday. Now you're doing fight night on Saturday. You'll have a press conference most likely after. Lots going on. Lots going on for a young man at 20. How is he taking all that? And that's what I'm wondering. It really, again, you compare him to maybe someone like an Anthony Joshua, and it's like, well, AJ had, all this experience in the amateurs. He had, the Sky, machine behind him and stuff like that. But he was a lot older than Itauma. Again, how old would AJ have been? What, mid to late 20s? 25, 26, thereabouts. So old enough to be, a bit more sturdy in that. It does have me wondering with Itauma. It is a wonder. But Personally, I think Itauma, when I look at him, I think that there's something there with this kid. I think he's got an old head on young shoulders. I think that this is it's his first time headliner.
Comparisons are drawn with Anthony Joshua, who had long amateur experience and strong backing, and was older in his mid-20s when entering big stages. In contrast, Moses is younger, but seems to carry wisdom beyond his years. Analysts view this as his first headline event and possibly his first pay-per-view stage. Some experts describe the fight as a make-or-break moment for Dillian Whyte, warning that losing to a rising talent like Moses could end his top-level career, and this pressure makes him more dangerous, as he will fight with urgency to win. Dillian knows a victory can re-establish him as a contender, while defeat would raise doubts about his future.
Backs, Moses has been performing under the bright lights, but what I'm saying is, it's still so early and he's got a lot to prove. Up until this point, I can't argue. He's passed every test with flying colours, but the problem is, he's passed so easily. He's missed out on valuable lessons along the way, and he's now got a very experienced veteran in front of him, in Dillian Whyte, who's been at world level. Everybody's written Dillian off, but recently, seeing interviews and seeing training footage, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've got to be honest, my mind's starting to shift. Let's take a look and discuss the key takeaways.
I don't think I've ever seen you be this big an underdog in a fight. You are like 1-14.
Dev asked Dillian, how does he feel being the underdog?
And that's what makes it dangerous. As an underdog, you're underneath. You get up at them testicles and lock onto them, and it's game over.
It's crazy, really, because like I said, he's fought at world level, fighting the likes of Povetkin, Fury, Chisora, AJ, Parker. The list goes on. But in sports, you're only as good as your last performance. In Dillian's last fight, he looked terrible, putting it politely.
Has he put something in you? Because like your last few fights, Ebenezer instilled a fear, not...
No man has put anything in me. Pause this.
Dillian does make me laugh. Dark humour. But maybe that says more about me. He says it the way it is. There's no sugarcoating. Dev says, is this the biggest risk he's took in his career? Which again is madness.
All of them has been massive. Because you think, no one's ever had me as the favourite. Think of one fight that was the favourite. Just think.
Dylan's right. He's always the underdog. It's nothing new.
How do you reflect on your fight with Tete?
It was what it was. Listen, I've been walking the long, lonely, dark road for 3 years.
This is the thing. People forget that fighters go through things outside of the ring which affect the performance, but us fans only judge the performance. At the end of the day, fighters are human, they're not robots.
Then that fight for me was, ask myself a question, can I take a good walk and push through? Can I force myself to put the jabs in? Can I...
He admits he wasn't in great shape, but that fight for him was about dipping his foot in the water and seeing if he still got it and still wants it.
I had a few injuries and stuff going into the fight, but it is what it was. But that fight really...
A TalkSport analyst shares a unique view, pointing out that even though Dillian Whyte struggled in past fights, his current form appears different. The expert says many might underestimate him, but his recent training shows big improvements. He highlights changes in intensity, approach, and physical sharpness, suggesting this version of Dillian could surprise many. The fight is not only a trial for Moses, but also a chance for Dillian to prove again what he is capable of in the ring.
We've not really seen him, and that's where his weakness could be.
Of course. I mean, if you try to go out there and blast him out, you're playing into his hands because he's young, he's fast, and he can punch. So sometimes you gotta walk him down.
You've been part of the Dillian Whyte team now. Dillian Whyte joined you, right? He left Mark Tibbs and said, "Okay, I need Buddy McGirt." You've been part of the team for a while. Do you have any say on the opponent? Now, does he come to you, for example, and say, "Look, okay, this is what we want to do," and then you can kind of give him guidance, or is it a case of, "This is the opponent. Get me ready for this opponent, buddy"?
Well, it's like this. In a situation like this, when they come to you, he said to me, "Listen, buddy, this is what they're putting on the table for me." I said, "So what do you want to do?" I mean, I don't want to say, "Yeah," and you're not feeling it. I want to see what you're feeling. And he goes, "I got to go for it." So, all right, let's go. We're a team. So if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. I mean, if we got to go through this hailstorm to get to the other side of the we got to do what we got to do.
Buddy, I saw something the other day, and I don't believe you. I want to pull you up on it. I think I saw that you said you haven't seen Moses box before, and you don't watch your opponent's box. But I don't believe you, buddy. I don't believe you.
I swear to you. I will not lie to you.
Analyst Oladipo studies Dillian Whyte's changes before the fight and sees a boxer both physically and mentally renewed. He notes Whyte entered camp with full focus, shedding weight and regaining the sharpness that once made him a top contender. He points to clips showing Whyte moving with speed, accuracy, and aggression similar to his best years. This fresher version could push Moses into new territory and challenges he hasn't faced yet. For Whyte, just taking this fight has revived talk about him. A win over Moses would be a major statement and restore his status. Some also note that Moses has not yet fought at this scale, though comparisons are already made to legends like Mike Tyson.